Welcome back to Balance Grind. Today I wanted to give a little background information about myself just so anybody that's viewing knows a little bit about me and where I'm coming from. I am not a social influencer. I am not looking for validation, creating videos on topics that I generally know nothing about just to generate clicks and views. Um, I'm just a regular guy. I am about to turn 40. I have a young, growing family. I have a full-time job. I have an endless list of obligations that I need to get done all the time. So if I can find time to do these little routines, these little challenges to make my life easier, uh, then you can too. The hardest part is just staying disciplined enough to do it, recognizing the benefits, trusting the progress, even when it doesn't seem like you're making it. You just have to find the will to do it. And it was always my kind of personality where I was just like, yes, I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. And then all of a sudden 6 months go by and my situation doesn't get any better, doesn't, seems to get worse. And then all of a sudden I'm in a rut and then I just don't know how to get out of it. So the biggest thing that you can do is just start today. Even if you're making a little bit of progress, even if you're not sure how to begin, just start. Everything will eventually fall into place. So without further ado, let's get into it and let me kind of give you a little background about myself as to why I started this channel. All right, so I am not making videos with any fancy equipment. I have very little experience and basic equipment. I have just a regular iPhone, a mic that I'm not even quite sure if I'm using correctly, and a very basic tripod. I am learning how to edit. Again, zero editing skills, no experience, but it's something that I've always wanted to do, so I'm trying. So if anybody has any advice or things that I could try in my editing of my videos, drop it in the comments. I will be happy to get anything, really. Any help would help. But again, very basic equipment, very basic knowledge of any of this. So I'm just kind of giving it a shot, throwing myself out there. And again, I want to share my experiences with you, so hopefully this will be beneficial. I'm currently using Movavi, so if you have any tips on Movavi, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to get them, and it would be greatly appreciated. All right, so this journey for me started about 3 years ago when my son was born. Um, it was to be generic about it, it changed my life. Um, the second he took his first breath, everything in my life changed. My dreams, my aspirations, everything that I've strived for changed in an instant. Everything was about him. It was at that moment that I realized that my life was not my life anymore. Uh, my sole purpose is now to be there for him, be there for my family. So that really kind of flipped the switch for me. Um, I knew going into this that, this would have that kind of effect, but I didn't really understand it until he was physically born. All through the pregnancy, we planned, we made preparations. We knew we had to be in a better spot financially, so we made a lot of sacrifices. We postponed our wedding. We canceled vacations. We stopped going out. We stopped spending money on things. We poured everything into our savings account. We poured everything into baby-proofing our condo, getting everything that we needed. And gratefully, we had a ton of support from our friends and family, so that we couldn't be more grateful for. But it was definitely an eye-opener in terms of what our life goals were. So we made a lot of sacrifices and a lot of change to prepare for the upcoming birth. But again, to me, it wasn't really real yet. And then the day he was born, it hit me like a hammer. Like he's here, he's perfect, he's healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes. His eyes were straight, which was a big concern of mine. Danielle and I both have the same issues with our eyes. So when he looked at me, the very first thing I noticed was his eyes were straight, and I was like an immediate relief. But he was born healthy. She was healthy. Everything went beautifully. Everything went perfectly. And that's when it kind of hit me like, this is now it's real. I need to take better care of myself. I need to make better choices. I need to create better habits, not necessarily for me, but for my family. I cannot be there for my family if I'm not there for me. So I needed to really make some changes, and that flipped the switch for me. Um, I started thinking about everything that I could possibly improve so I can be there 100% for my growing family. Uh, so I started making just adjustments. The first thing I really wanted to kind of fix was my mental health. Like I was tired all the time. I was annoyed all the time. Like I just didn't. I just wasn't happy, and it wasn't anything from my home life. It all stemmed from my job. Um, so when he was born, I was a teacher, high school science teacher, teaching chemistry, biology, physics, anatomy and physiology, tech and engineering. I taught night school. I taught on weekends. I taught every school break. I taught summer vacations. I was working constantly, and it was such a burden to never be done with what you had to do. It was just an endless list of things that had to be done, and if you didn't do it, your next day was just miserable. So eventually, in terms of the school climate, like politics started entering education. School policies started to change, administrative views on school goals started to change, and then it just kind of all snowballed from there. Not being appreciated, not being, backed up by the administration when certain things happened in school, and it got to the point where I just had enough. I was only getting paid for the 8 hours I was in front of the kids. I was not getting paid for the extra 2 hours of extra help every night, the extra classes I was teaching outside of school. Um, and then all of a sudden, I'd come home and I was eating dinner and I was spending 3 to 4 hours grading, prepping, planning, getting things ready for the next day. That was all off the clock and it was miserable. I was literally working 4 to 5 hours at home at my kitchen table, going to bed at 1:30 in the morning, waking up at 5:30. I was just getting burnt out. It was hitting me like a hammer. My sleep was terrible. My eating habits were terrible. Not that I was eating bad food, but I was just eating at the wrong time. And I know it didn't really kind of affect me until I realized that I had to make some better changes because when I got home, I didn't want to bring home my work. I wanted to be done. I wanted to be home. I wanted to spend time with my son, my fiance. I wanted to be able to do things with my family and not have the obligation of doing free work at home. So this is kind of a dramatic change. It's not necessarily something that I recommend for everybody to do, but I was in a situation where I had some money saved up. It wasn't really going to be like a detrimental thing, so I could make that career change as easily as I could. It was still a gamble. It was definitely a roll of the dice. Um, I literally put in my notice. I finished at the end of that year, and then I applied for the new career, which was at the United States Postal Service. I took a $35,000 pay cut to jump careers, but I went into this with a plan. I knew where I wanted to end up. I knew what I wanted to do. So I put a plan together. I had my timelines out, had everything mapped out, and I stuck to the plan. I trust the process, and eventually it took a little bit longer than I expected, but it did work out. I'm in a much better place now. Uh, Mentally, I work full time, but when I go home, I don't bring my job with me. I don't bring my work home. So when I get home, I'm not stressed. I'm not annoyed. I can come home. I can spend time with my family. I can play with my son. I can do things around the condo that need to be done. And we're going to bed at a decent time. I'm getting sleep. Sleep was such a big change that really changed everything in terms of like my mental capability throughout the day. Um, so that was a big change. That was definitely the biggest change, the scariest change that I went through, and it did pay off. Uh, I'm not recommending people go out and quit their jobs, but definitely, if you're not happy, make a plan, know what you want to do it. All right, might be easier said than done, or you might not even need a career change. Just change some of the routines that you do throughout the day, and it will make you feel better. For me, I feel better. I am more productive. I have more energy, hence me doing this extra stuff, creating a YouTube channel. And again, if I can do it, you can do it. So, uh, getting back into it, that was the first change that I made for my mental health. And that was huge. That kind of gave me the mental fortitude to try to change other things. So then I used, going forward a little bit, now I have a better job, better insurance, and now I took advantage of that to kind of go after some of the physical, you could say, injuries that I've had that I've been dealing with for years. And a lot of it stems around nerve pain. So one of the very first things that I wanted to take care of, I had extreme nerve pain in my left arm. I had a herniated disc between my C5 and C6 for years, probably from a past injury. I did a lot of contact sports growing up, a lot of bad decisions, bad habits that probably didn't help. So it gradually got worse and worse and worse. And then it got to the point where I could not get any relief. It was 24 hours a day, constant, relentless. It was wearing me down. So I went back. I got a MRI just to kind of see what was going on, the injuries in my neck. I will post a picture of this when I do the editing of the video. Um, but my doctor basically kind of looked at it and he said, "You are one violent sneeze away from doing permanent damage. We need to take care of this immediately." So they got me in, they did the surgery, they went through and they took out the entire disc and then they replaced it with an artificial piece, which I will talk about that whole surgery in another video because it was definitely, it helped. I have, they actually went in through the front of my neck, but I have no, problem with movement. I have no loss of mobility. I can use my left arm again. I have zero pain. Um, so it was after that, then I went to the second injury that I've been dealing with. I have another herniated disc, my L5 and my S1. Um, so they did not take that one out. What they did was they went in and they trimmed off the uh, disc that was protruding out, pushing onto my sciatic nerve. So when they did that, I had a little bit of relief, but again, I had scar tissue formed there, and it was essentially doing the same thing that the herniated disc was doing, still putting pressure on my sciatic nerve. So to increase the healing, I did a series of shots of steroid injections to help kind of reduce the inflammation to try to get some of that swelling down. Um, and that didn't really do anything. So we went in for a second MRI, and it's the same thing, same pressure on the nerve. But they said that they're not going to go in and do it again because the scar tissue is just going to reform. What I need to do is really kind of start taking better care of myself to kind of expedite the process. They were thinking 6 to 8 month full recovery, but with certain things that I can do can try to help expedite that process. So that was my motivation to really kind of kickstart some of this health routines that I've implemented. Um, so what I did initially for that is I started a series of fasts, which I'm going to get into in a different video because I believe that some of the information that's out there is um, a little misleading, and a lot of times it's looked at like you're starving yourself, you're not doing yourself, you have to feed your body constantly to the nutrients. That's not necessarily true. But I'm going to get into that into another video, probably my next one after this, because I've already did a 5-day fast, and some of the benefits that I saw from it were some things I generally wasn't expecting. So I'm definitely going to do a separate video on that to kind of explain the benefits of that. But anyways, so getting back into it, I had another surgery. I was born with a lazy eye. My right eye would always kind of veer off, and it was never properly aligned. I had 3 surgeries growing up to try to correct that alignment. But as you grow up, obviously you get bigger, things change. I had a muscle that was on the interior of my eye slip, and my eye went off again, and it didn't really bother me. I could still see. However, my confidence in terms of meeting people and, trying to look people in the eye was just generally embarrassing, and I didn't like it. So I was driving one day, and I was on my way home from work, and it was a little, it was about dusk. It wasn't too dark, but the headlights of cars of oncoming traffic were giving me uh, like really bad vertigo. Like all of a sudden, like I couldn't focus. I couldn't see. It looked like I was looking in two different directions, and I had to pull over, and it was scary because like it was tough to do, and I almost got into a car accident. Luckily, I was by myself. But then hit me. It's like, my son was in my car. One of my fiance was in the car. Like, I didn't want to be the reason I could potentially put them at risk. So the next day, I said, I'm taking care of this. I made an appointment to go to the eye doctor. I met with a surgeon, and they went through. They did the most, I guess you'd say, advanced eye test I've ever had in my life, and they were really kind of testing how I look and focus at things. And they recommended surgery to fix the alignment. And 4 months later, we went through the surgery, and now my eyes are generally straight again. Now, the biggest thing is they're still just a little bit off. However, I'm not getting double vision. I'm not getting headaches. I can focus clearly. I can read something for more than 5 minutes without having to take a break. And generally, in my terms, like self-esteem, it has helped with my job in terms of meeting people, networking. Um, before I had a very hard time looking people in the eye. I would look down, I would look up, I'd look anywhere but their eyes because I was embarrassed. And now I'm not embarrassed anymore, and I actually look forward to meeting people, which has also helped my mental health. So there's just a lot of things that kind of got the ball rolling for me that I really wanted to share with people. Um, so that was kind of the big physical hurdles that I had to do. So now I have scar tissue in my eye, I have scar tissue in my neck, scar tissue in my lower back. So now I need to start doing some healthy routines to try to really correct that scar tissue and get that information down. So going through in short, this is why I decided to create this channel. I wanted to share my journey with you, to show you what worked, what didn't work, some of the good things, some of the bad things, and my overall thoughts of the processes and what I would do differently if I were to do them again. Um, but again, biggest thing that I can tell you is you don't have to be motivated. You just have to have a plan. When it's planned out, you know what you need to do. You know you're trusting the process. You know eventually you're going to get to your goal. Even if it doesn't seem like you're making fast progress, nothing happens overnight. You just have to stick with it. You have to trust that you are getting those benefits. Um, so I wanted to share my journey with you, and I wanted to include you in this. So if you are having some issues, if you're having some ailments, or if there are just things that you want to change to help better yourself, or maybe just make your everyday life easier, this is what my channel is for. So again, like I said in my intro video, I'm going to be posting how-tos. They could be health related, they could be mental health related, financial related, or they could just be random things that pop up around my condo. Um, Again, not a real plan on how I'm doing these videos, just kind of as they come up. So if there's something that you might want to see, or if there's something that you might have a question with or want some help or support with, drop in the comments. If I can make a video or something to help you, I will. So yeah, so without further ado, my next video is going to be kind of documenting my first self-healing remedy, which is fasting. Because again, I still have that scar tissue pushing on my sciatic nerve, so that is something I want to address, because right now I can walk better after my first fast. I'm going to do it again to try and, not really to lose weight, but my goal is to make it to the part where the range of the fasting where I'm starting to regenerate some stem cells, and I'm going to force my body into autophagy so I can get rid of some of the broken or dysfunctional cellular components, to kind of flush out my system, regenerate some healthy tissue, reduce that inflammation, and get that pressure off the nerve. Just trying to keep up with my son now. It's he's getting faster. I am not. So I want to be able to keep up with him and being able to play with him without getting tired or without stopping. Because again, I want to be here for him. I want to make sure that he is having the best childhood that I could possibly give him. And I want to be a part of it. I don't want to watch him play. I want to play with him. So if anybody's in that situation, young family, lots of obligations, full-time job, this is going to be the channel where I'm going to share all my experiences with you, and hopefully maybe you can try to implement some, or maybe it'll just be a good method of support. Maybe you just wanted to watch a journey of somebody else that might be going through the same thing. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where I'm going to be kind of getting into the first fast that I did in terms of how long, how I felt, what I did to kind of keep my motivation up. I'm going to do, I did weigh-ins every single day. I wasn't necessarily, the goal wasn't weight loss. However, it was something that was a beneficial byproduct, I guess you could say. But in terms of the process, I'm going to be posting everything in the next video. So I hope to see you there. And as always, have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.